Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come let us work hand in hand.
So come let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belongs to all of us, right? Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belong to all of us, and we must work assiduously, diligently to build this place, to transform this place, to make it better for our children and children's children. Because I think our task is to make life better for our children and children's children. They will take it from there. In other words, we give them a start and they will continue to make it better for their generation, the next generation, and the next generation. And that is the message we want to share with you home and abroad. This is our land. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique belong to all of us. Not because you're residing in the United States, Canada, the UK. It means that you are some stranger or some visitor. And I think they normally call you returning national, all kind of tag. They would say you're a returning national, you're a this, you're a that, but your birthright is here. Your neighbor's string berry here. Grenada belongs to all of us, and we have a stake. Just think about it. If our brothers and sisters who live in the diaspora can invest in this country, just think about it for a moment, what Grenada will look like. We have doctors who are Grenadians out there in the diaspora. We have lawyers, we have engineers, we have architects, we have entrepreneurs, small business owners, large business owners and managers, executives, CEOs of companies. We have specialists in so many fields: interior designing, plumbing, electrical engineering. We can go on and on and on. We have scientists. We have, we have a lot of Grenadians out there in the diaspora doing well. And if they can invest more in this country, even if it's building a house, building a home here, right? Buying land, or if you have land already, you build a home here. So you provide some jobs for the carpenters, the masons, the electricians, the plumbers, and so on, the interior design, and so. And even if it's setting up a small business, setting up a clinic, setting up something here in Grenada and employing 2 or 3 people, it will make a big difference in the economy. But we have to create this bank of information. So we need to know our people out there, who are our people out in the diaspora, where they're located, what they're into in terms of career, in terms of profession, in terms of expertise, what exactly they're affixed to or are doing. And once we know that, we can harness, we can work together to build this place. Because many years ago, a friend told me while I was in the United Kingdom, she said to me, the United Kingdom is not her home. She's only there because she wants better for her children and children. So she was able to break the cycle of poverty by going to the United Kingdom and work hard, save her money, send back home. She built her first home, then she built an apartment building with about what? I think it's about 6 or 7 apartments that she was actually renting. And she was able to take care of her children, send them to college, send them to university, right? Because where she came from, the pounds is really high when compared to the currency there. So she was able to send her children to school, college, university. She was able to build a home. So she created some jobs for the people in that community. She was able to build a second a home, but apartment with 6 or 7 apartments renting. And she was working extremely hard still to make sure that she had savings and money there set in train so that her children and children would not have it as hard as she did. And I think that is what we must do. Lay a solid foundation for our children and children, because we want them to be better off, to be in a better place. And folks, if you're hearing the background noise, it is really raindrops falling on my rooftop. And we are experiencing a lot of rain here in Grenada. And I want to believe it's falling all in Carriacou and Petit Martinique too. But I'm saying to you, that is the mindset that we must have. You go out there to find greener pastures, to build, to earn, to save, and you want to build a home, you want to establish some little business back home here in Grenada. That is what we would like to see as we move forward as a country. So you in the diaspora, you have a significant role to play in the development of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and you cannot underestimate that or downplay that. You have a significant role to play in the development of this country. So I urge you, think about it. You might be in a particular field out there, and we here in Grenada might be in need of that service. So we are not saying to you, pack up shop and come back home for good if you're not ready to come back home for good, But we are saying you can establish something here, a little, outfit, a little branch, a little business right here in Grenada, employing 3, 4, 5 people. And if you do not want to open a business, you can actually come and train people here right here in Grenada so that they could do certain things instead of we have to ask the Chinese and the Japanese and the foreign folks to come in and train and do things here. Our people have the skill set, the talent, and the qualification to do it. You might be in the United States, you might be in Canada, you might be in Europe, but we are calling on you to come back home as we celebrate 50 years of independence. Come back home and invest in your country. Come back home and build Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. We are not saying to you to give up what you have wherever you are. We are saying to you, come back home and establish here too, to turn things around for our people. Because what drives an economy is the small businesses that employ 5 people, 10 people, and they keep things moving. The small businesses, they're really powerful. So again, I urge you to do just that. All right? Let me feature some of the positive things that are happening, and I'll come right back to chit chat with you because there are a lot of things that we have to talk about, right? There was this investment migration forum that they launched only recently. And the Citizenship by Investment program is a big thing for us.
The 4th Annual Investment Migration Forum was launched in Grenada during this week with a focus on Grenada's Citizenship by Investment program. Managing Director of Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited, Larry Lawrence, highlighted the importance of the CBI program to the Grenadian economy. The forum is an undertaking by the Grenada Cooperative Bank Limited and the Citizenship by Investment Unit.
We all understand and agree that the investment migration program is a major contributor to Grenada's economy, one which has been steadily increasing over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no doubt about the role of the investment migration program and what it plays in our economy, one which will enable us to execute several meaningful projects for the benefits of the people of Grenada.
Lawrence explained that it is important to sensitize the populace on the sustainable sector of the economy.
We are aware that the Grenada Citizens by Investment Unit has been working rather assiduously on the action plans highlighted from previous roundtable engagements, one of which is to, of course, demystify CBI to the Grenadian public. One that is of importance as a local institution, of course, is the sensitization to the Grenadian public. So there is therefore a need to continue to educate our population on the operations and the benefits of the program, to reduce and to eventually eliminate the unjustified stigma associated with CBI.
The forum was attended by government officials, industry experts, and
Yes, so that forum there, very important because we depend on the CBI program to do a lot of things here in Grenada, and so far so good. So far so good. We have had high intake in that particular area. The projection, we have surpassed the expectation and projection for the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. So far so good, if you ask me. All right, let's move to another positive thing. The Kirani James Athletic Stadium getting a little renovation and upgrade.
New tracks will soon be laid at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. Work is scheduled to commence in January 2024 for an estimated 4 to 5 weeks as the country prepares to host the 51st Carifta Games in March. As a result, schools that utilize the facility to host the annual athletic meet will move to alternative venues. Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Ron Redhead, says work is in motion to upgrade the Roy St. John playing field and the Progress Park to serve as alternative venues for schools to host athletic meets.
We are upgrading the canteen facility. We are ensuring that we can complete the drainage there. We are doing everything that we can to fast track the lighting of it, and we are also ensuring that Progress Park, notwithstanding the fire with the school just occurred, is going to be ready and available for all athletes so that they can continue their preparations for Carifta 2024. So that's just in a nutshell what we are doing in terms of augmenting the use of the Kirani James Athletic Stadium.
Minister Redhead says the plan is to ensure that the facility will be ready for the staging of the Intersecondary School Games, March 19th to 21st, 2024.
Well, the 5 weeks is maximum, and it will entail certainly from the preparation. The contractor has to make the materials and ship it. That will take approximately 4 to 5 weeks to reach. So by the time January 2024, the materials should be on island. We have already spoken to the contractor to ensure that that shipping time is going to be kept, and so that we can be in a position to actually have the tracks relayed before Carifta 2024. It's going to be in time for intercall as well, but what we want to do is to ensure that by and large for Carifta, that the tracks will be in place.
Grenada's National Cricket Stadium will also undergo major repairs and an upgrade. The major work will commence in 2024 as Grenada is set to host 2 T20 matches in the West Indies home series against England, December 14th and 16th.
Work is currently ongoing. We had to make several changes, which also included the electrical facilities for lights. They were never in place, and therefore for the cricket stadium in particular, we had to redo some of the assessments. And so we spoke to the Chinese about that. We spoke to the People's Republic of China for ensuring that we could get the manuals this time in English and not Mandarin. So these were some of the things that we had to do. And these things take a process. It can't happen in 1 year. And we may not see it happening in 2 years. Again, the duration for the refurbishment of the cricket stadium is approximately 18 months.
Will that in any way hamper the cricket?
No. So we are commencing full-scale repairs after, in the 2024 period, and not within this period. So the cricket, T20 cricket in December will go on.
Beautiful. Nice. So that was the Honorable Ron Redhead there. The athletic stadium will get a much needed renovation upgrade. Some work will be done there. And also the cricket stadium. All right. Let me now tell you about that engagement the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette had with health officials. All right. That's very important.
Senior managers in the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs have accompanied their minister, Honorable Jonathan Lacrette, on tour of several health facilities across the island. The ministry's Senior Health Promotions, Communications and Public Information Officer, Kevin Frederick, is part of the delegation.
The continuous assessment of healthcare facilities, staff performance and customer satisfaction are of equal importance to the overall delivery of healthcare services and access at all levels, which the Deacon Mitchell-led administration is assiduously giving its attention. By now you know, Health Minister Senator the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette and his primary healthcare management team have been putting measures in place to address major concerns head-on, especially at the community level. Minister Lacrette, who is familiar with some of the concerns, is not shying away, but instead is determined to tackle the priority issues in a systematic way to improve services.
We wanted to ensure that we touch base with all of the clinicians because sometimes, Kevin, when you get to the management level, you tend to get a bit comfortable. And I didn't want the management to get comfortable. I wanted to ensure that even the medical director of hospital services, etc., the CMO is usually out in the community, as well as the senior medical officer for primary health care and chronic disease, etc. But when you bring the entire management out, I believe that everybody receives a greater appreciation for what the nurses face and what they go through on a daily basis. And also the patients, when they come to the clinics, what are some of the challenges that they have, so that we can see how we can remedy these challenges for 2024 one by one.
The island's health minister added,
there are some general things that we can certainly get done, but I believe that the assessment and analysis that we are conducting right now is extremely important as we come to the final stages of our budget consultation as well, so that we know how we're budgeting, why we're budgeting, especially for the retrofitting and reconstruction of some of the medical stations and the smarting of those medical stations as well, so that you can make life comfortable for the clinicians as well as the patients.
He said,
we have put together a plan for the training of nurses next year, as well as healthcare assistants, but healthcare assistants in the first instance so that they can help bolster the skills gap that we have while we take some time to train nurses, because you do know it takes about 4 years to train a nurse. Yes, but we did notice that we still have some infrastructural work to do in some of the medical stations, but material resources as well as human resource are two of the foregoing things that jumped out at us as a team. We are extremely excited. We have earmarked the years 2024 to 2027 as the years of health sector modernization, and we do have some strategic plans in place to ensure that we modernize incrementally, and of course the nation is going to be informed, and they're going to hear about those modernization objectives and strategic imperatives that we've put together for this sector. But primary healthcare is going to be at the top of our list as it relates to high focus. We do have some big ticket items, and they are medium term to long term, but we want to ensure that we have a very strong primary healthcare structure and infrastructure as we move forward, because we believe from a medical perspective as well as technical perspective, if we get primary healthcare right, every other tertiary healthcare institution that comes is going to have a very strong, solid base to stand on, because primary healthcare is running very smoothly.
Another key member of the team is Mrs. Carol Telesford-Charles, Chief Community Health Nurse.
As you are aware, a number of facilities have been refurbished, and some new ones. For example, we had Guelph some years ago. Then we had Victoria, which we recommissioned this year. We also had Good Hope, right? And we continue. So we're in the parish of St. David's, and Wester Hall was one of the recent refurbished one. But when we look at Pegmont and Vincent's medical stations, these are two facilities that really need some facelift and some refurbishment. And we know that there is commitment, and for the 2024 budget, we're hopeful and we know that they are going to be addressed.
Yes, so again, very good. Healthcare must become a priority, and I think the government is focusing heavily on that particular area to improve the facilities, to make it conducive for the nurses, the workers there, and also for Grenadians who go in to the nurses or the doctors or the folks within that particular clinic or medical station. I think that's a really good thing, and I want to applaud the Honorable Jonathan Lacrette because he's genuine, he's sincere about improving the healthcare in the country. Everything cannot happen instantly. I was saying to a friend last night after the program, I was saying to that friend, the NNP has been in power for 23 years, and the state of our roads is extremely bad. The state of our healthcare system, really bad. The state of our education system, really bad. But the NNP constantly blame the NDC. That is how they function. The NDC has been in power for only 1 year and some months. But the NNP been there so long. But yet for all, they were not able to fix the mess. And I turned around and I said to the friend, well, if the NNP is blaming the NDC, indeed, the NNP is to be blamed for this mess because you have been there the longest. 20-something years is enough to significantly improve the healthcare system in the country. Not only that, Kate Lewis wants the NNP to get credit for this flight bridge at Maurice Bishop International Airport. But think about it. The NNP was in power for 23 years and a half. That should have been done long, The NNP should have gotten that done years and years and years ago. We have very small islands with that same flight bridge or that bridge, right, that she's seeking to get attention for, or the NNP should get a credit for. We have small islands. 10 years ago, they had 2 or 3 of that said thing in or at the airport. So we are way behind. So the NDC is in power now. They're executing, they're implementing, they're completing these projects. They did not abandon it. They enhance it and they're improving it. That is what you want. That is what should happen. So before the NNP come out there and crying for credit to be given to them for such a small project, in my view, and such a project that should have happened 10 years ago, the NNP should be ashamed of itself to come now in 2023 when the NDC is in power, when the NDC actually implement the thing, right? Because the NDC is about implementing and completing these projects, because the NNP was not about implementing projects and getting it done. They were all about bluffing and talking, but the NDC is getting it done. But the NNP should be ashamed to come publicly and seek credit or praises for this flight bridge at Maurice Bishop International Airport. Because the NNP has been in power for way too long, right? Not to have such a thing in place. I mean, I'm talking about 10 years ago. They should have had that in place 10 years ago. So they're way behind. Look at some small islands and people who know, who travel within the region. Small islands, you know. They have 2 and 3 and 4 bridges. So when the big planes come, you don't have to go on the tarmac. You don't have to walk on the ground. You go straight into the flight bridge and into immigration. So I am taken aback at this particular member of parliament, and she seemed to be the talk of the tongue now, because people see as arrogant, as silly to come out and try to take credit for something that should have happened 10 years ago. Because you see, NNP thought that our Grenadian people, you know, we will just accept any old thing. We're going to just accept them doing the same thing year in, year out. But they didn't understand what was taking place. We have a lot of Grenadians who left Grenada and went to developed countries like the United States, like Canada, like the UK, or European countries. So they see what development looks like. They see what good healthcare looks like. They see what a good education system looks like. They see what good roads look like. They see what an airport should look like. They see what certain things should look like. And that is the problem that the NNP face. So they were doing the same old thing over and over and over, keeping the people ignorant, right? Because they were thinking, well, not many people are going overseas and so on. But joke they're making. So as people go overseas and they experience those things, they start to have a different outlook on life, a different mindset, a different thinking. And that is what caused the defeat, really and truly. A lot of people change their mindset because they experience certain things. They know what good things look like. I'm telling you. So to come now for Kate to be out there making a brawl about NNP should be given credit for this thing on the airport. Look, NNP should be ashamed. This should have happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Come on. So it comes across as though these people think that we are still stuck in the past. So they could do any old thing and get away with it. This rubbish that Kate and the NNP talking there. Anybody with sense would say, but wait, there are small islands within the Caribbean who already have 4 and 5 bridges like that at the airport. 10 years ago, they had that. 8 years ago. So we are way behind when it comes to that. But no, she's saying, well, NNP should be given credit. Well, government is a continuum. So because NDC won the election, they need to stop everything and start from scratch? No, that is not how it works. In fact, any government or party who does such a thing, they will be reversing the country instead of progressing, instead of moving forward. Because to start something from scratch, it will take a lot of time, effort, human resources, and so on. So we have to understand, when the NNP came into power, for example, they met Deepcon Engineering here, right? They were doing all the roads and so on under the NDC administration. What the NNP did, they got rid of Deepcon. Deepcon sued them and won compensation of what, $21 million? Yeah. So you don't have to come and just change everything. If it is good, you continue with it. So what the NDC did is to continue with that project, enhance the project, and ensure that it's implemented and that it will be completed. That is what you want. It's good for Grenada. But to be out there seeking credit, because that is what she wants. She's so petty. Eh? This Kate Lewis lady is so petty. It's not even funny. She's out there crying like a little baby for credit to be given to the NNP. Well, the NNP was in power and they had a responsibility to do certain things. The NDC is now in the driver's seat. Excuse me. So they have to complete the projects. It's just what it is. And the NNP should be ashamed to now come and talk about this flight bridge at the airport. People who travel, and I repeat, people who travel throughout the Caribbean, the little islands in the Caribbean, they will tell you that there are some islands that are way more developed than Grenada. And Grenada had one person as prime minister and one party running the show in Grenada for 20-something years. Just think about it. And they are way more developed. Their roads are properly done. The drains, the signage in the city, the sidewalks are properly done. Traffic lights and everything running properly. The cities are clean in terms of garbage disposal. The businesses and so on, they know that they have to get their truck or whatever to take their garbage and bring it where it's supposed to be dumped. So there are, things in place. You have more development taking place in some of those smaller islands. But the NNP was in power for so long. And they missed the train. They were doing the same old thing over and over and over again. So we have not improved significantly. That is why the Grenadian people removed the NNP in the last general election, Yeah. And our Grenadian brothers and sisters want to see Grenada transformed. And they believe dearly that the NDC will transform Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They have confidence in that because they have seen the NDC at work from day one, doing the stuff that they said they were going to do. They can trust them. They can rely on them. So the NNP should be ashamed to come now, after 20-something years. You were in power for almost quarter of a century. Almost quarter of a century you have been in power. And you now come in to seek credit or to take credit for some bridge at the airport when you have other smaller territories or islands who put that in place long time ago, 2 and 3 at the airports. But they believe that a lot of Grenadians, they are not traveling and they don't care. That is what they believe. But we also have technology. We don't need to travel to all the islands in the Caribbean to know what's going on. We have the technology that would guide us, help us, make us see as though we are there in person. What is taking place in those islands? So you cannot fool the Grenadian people. We're not living in black and white television anymore. Smart TV. So you should be ashamed to come publicly and try to take credit for this little thing happening at the airport. We should have been way more advanced as a country. And I'm telling you this because I've traveled. And we need to modernize. You go to Barbados, for example. You have kiosk system, you have computerized system where you go and you fill out your forms, you take a photo ID, you do everything online right there and then you go to the immigration. Makes life a whole lot easier. But when you come to Grenada, for example, you have to be given a form, some paper thing to fill out. So you have to fill out that form, and that will take you some time, and then you go to immigration with it. The days and age of this old paper thing, that's old, that's archaic, that's aged, right? We need to modernize, and I think that is the direction the country is going or heading. We need to reach that place where we modernize our airports, our seaports, and so on. We need that. So to give the impression that, you know, some bridge at an airport is a big thing, you could only fool certain Grenadians who don't know. There are smaller islands with 4 and 5 bridges where there's big planes. Those big planes, they come and they go straight there. Easy, like 1 to 3. So we have to reach to that place, people, where we improve on the things we have. So the airport, it needs to be improved technologically. We're still outdated. You need to be able to walk in the airport and have 10, 20, 30 kiosk system. You go on that system, you put your information, take your photo, your everything. Where you staying, where all these things is just electronic. So it's easy to pull up from anywhere. This old paper thing, you have to write on the paper, then you take the paper and you pay somebody or a group of people to put the stuff in some kind of system on the computer. That's outdated, right? And I am saying the NNP should be ashamed to even come out in the public and talk, because they have done nothing to improve the Maurice Bishop International Airport for the 20-something years they've been in power. Enough time to modernize our airports, to modernize our port. Because you go to the port to clear a barrel, 1 barrel, you have to go about 5 different places. Bring a paper here, bring a paper there, bring a paper there, bring a paper. Stupid. It's barbaric. It's old-time-ish. And that has to change too. You should go one place and collect everything, your barrel. And you pay right there and then. One place. You have to go there and go so on, all kind of damn stupidness. They have to harmonize the system. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. The NNP was in power for almost 25 years, almost quarter of a century, and they have not seen the vision to modernize the system. So you go in one place, you have customs, you have ports authority in one place. You buy the stamp, you buy the pass, you pay your duties, you pay every single thing. You just go and pick up your barrel and you're gone. That's what it's supposed to be. How Compass Shipping could do it, how Maryjet could do it, and others could do it. One place. We need to do just that in this country. So the NNP should be the last to talk about anything, to take credit for anything, because they have pushed this country backwards by a lot of years. They have not done anything significant in this country. Because all you need to do is to go to Barbados and go to the other islands, and you would see for yourself the kind of development that's taking place there. Things are way easier. Way easier. You need a cab, you need a taxi, you need a Uber, whatever. Easy, you know. All you need to do is to just indicate, so dial whatever, and they meet you within no time. They come there, and then they function from the Google map. So you tell them where you're going, and they could drive right there because they have their system in place. They're driving right to your place. You don't have to stop and ask anybody for anything. No. So I am saying we need to modernize our system so you make life easy for everybody. We're still too outdated or too in the back. We have to improve our system. So NNP should be the last to come out there and talk about anything whatsoever. The last. All right? So folks, I want to say to you, we must remain focused. The reason why the NNP is causing so much a stir, so much a bacchanal and melee online is because they realize the NDC is doing a lot for our Grenadian brothers and sisters, and people recognize that, people appreciate that, and as a result, the NNP has nothing to run on, nothing to run with, nothing whatsoever. So they concocting stories, they do all kind of stupidness. On mornings, they call a particular program. In fact, one of those NNP lumpengs called this morning to say, well, they're closing down all the playing fields, and the folks in Vendam wouldn't be able to go there. Rumors lie, barbaric, stupid, but they're given a platform to say those things. And mind you, that particular program is sponsored primarily by Lotto, the Grenada National Lotteries Authority. Yeah. And who is the line minister for that statutory outfit or that authority? The Honorable Ron Reddhead. So the person would call that program and attack him about the Vendam playing field and about this and about that. And who is paying for that program? Lotto. So we have to start looking at those things, right? Because whoever pays the piper calls the tune. So you cannot have Lotto pumping money into those stations. And there are some radio announcers who are getting a salary from Lotto or getting some commission or getting some pay from Lotto for doing nothing, in my belief. So they say, well, they're on the program and they're influencing and they're promoting. Promoting what? Promoting what? And they're getting a salary from Lotto, some money every month from Lotto. That has to change. You have to cut that out. So you have ads on that same program, and then the host of that same program getting some money from you directly. No, that has to change. And that is why I will dedicate my time and effort in targeting these things to make sure that it changes. It has to change. You can't have Lotto paying these stations thousands and thousands of dollars every month to keep them going, to push a certain agenda for those obstructionists, in my belief. That is exactly what we're getting from them. So we are taking note and we're observing what's going down. And action will come. Because I am not just a talker. I'm pragmatic. And we have to remain focused because the NNP is losing in everything. And because of that, they're becoming more and more desperate. They cannot organize a good event, a good activity. They can't. They just cannot. They had a little thing up in Guelph. A whole pile of old people went to that event. They cannot even attract young people. They cannot attract young people to their party. They don't want, young people don't want to be a part of them or associated with them. It's clear. They have not been able to attract new faces and new people around them. But I am saying we need to also understand that remaining focused and promoting the good things that are happening in the country will help us ultimately in the medium to long term. Because the people in the diaspora, they want to hear that good things are happening for Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. They want to be reassured. They want to know that good things are happening. Why you think so many of our brothers and sisters in the diaspora are coming home for the 50th anniversary of independence? I mean, yes, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, but they feel proud to be Grenadian again. They're happy to be Grenadian again. That is exactly what it is. They're proud of our government and team. So they're coming back home for the 50th. We will have thousands and thousands of Grenadians back here in Grenada for the 50th anniversary. You understand? It's what it is. So there is a need for such a thing as remaining focused and understanding that we need to keep our eyes on the prize. We need to do that. And there are other statutory bodies right? Who are actually paying the bills for those radio stations, who actually going against the government and pushing certain agenda to undermine the government legitimacy and undermine the things that the government is doing. A lot of statutory bodies, they have been paying the bills of some of those radio stations. So we have to start to look into it deeper. Because if you are being paid by a statutory body, that's government. Government. Because government controls the debt of that, pays the debt and makes sure that it's serviced. So we have to think about that and make some adjustments there. Whoever pays the piper calls the tune. But folks, again, I want to talk to you about a number of activities. We have about 5 minutes remaining. I know the women's arm, let me look here. I know the women's arm, they're having, right. So the women's arm of the NDC, they're having a Christmas dinner, an evening of elegance on December the 15th, 2023, starting at 7 p.m. Food, drinks, entertainment, do prices. Come relax, sip a glass of fine wine, dance the night away. $100 per person, $180 per couple, all inclusive. So you're getting your drinks, you're getting something to eat and so on. It's a dinner. You're getting the dinner and the drinks and so on. All right? It's all inclusive. Spice Basket, St. George, that's where they will be having it. Call for your tickets now, 449-5872, 419-5177, or www.ndcgrenada.org. So you can call them for the tickets. All right. So the NDC Women's Arm, they're having that activity. So I want to urge you to be a part of that. Then the, let me see here. Trying to get right. Nice. So the Bolio Village Council, they have a meeting tomorrow, the 8th of November, starting at 6:30 p.m. The Bolio RC School. That is where that meeting will be. All right. Also, the breakfast will now be on Saturday, the 11th at Snoqualmie Junction. All right. There are important plans for Christmas extravaganza and 50th Independence celebration to be discussed. Okay? Nice. And then let me move to my event, because I will be promoting my event until the event. Because many a times I promote other events way more than I do for my event. All right? But that would not happen for this particular event, because we need to make sure that it's extremely successful. All right? I know the Deacon Mutual Support Group out there in New York, they're having something, you know. Let me see. Frances should set me right. So there's something that they're having, and I must look for it, a bingo and something. All right. So Akim or any one of you all could send me the information. Francis, you could send me information. I think it's a bingo. I think they have a bingo or something coming up, you know. Once they share it with me, I'll share it with you. All right. I think I had it somewhere. So again, my event, that's Cheers to 50 Years, the ultimate cocktail reception and entertainment. That's on the 9th, right? It's a bingo. So Spice Queen sent me a bingo. Yes, they're having a bingo. So if they could send me that, I'll promote it. Because I had it somewhere here. I'm not seeing it, but I had it somewhere around the place. All right. So remember, it's 2 days after the Independence celebration, my event. That's a Friday. Wednesday is Independence. Friday is the cocktail reception and entertainment at Radisson Ballroom, Krong Ballroom, Radisson Hotel Krong Ballroom, starting at 7 and finishing at 12 midnight. All right. I still have tickets. All right. Still have early bird tickets. Right. So Frances just sent me that there. So the Deacon Mitchell Support Group, that's this coming Saturday. They have a bingo, cost $20, jackpot $1,000 at the St. Paul's Church Auditorium, 157 St. Paul's Place, corner of Church Avenue. Refreshments on sale, meaning drinks, food, and all kind of thing. They will be selling that. All right. So don't forget that. If you want tickets, call Frances. Call Estella, call Meryl, call Akim, call Jillian, call Kenisha, call Janice, call Beverly. And these are people who have been, I don't have to give you the number right away. I can put it on Facebook. But these are people who have been involved in the process from day one. Call them up for tickets and be a part of that. You can go in post now. You can get your ticket there on the day. That's Saturday, the 11th. Saturday coming, as the 11th of November. All right. So getting back to my activity, remember I have tickets left, 200 EC for it. And it's a whole day of event, whole day of activities. You come at my place from 11. Once you have a ticket, 11 to about 5. Free oil down, yes. You're going to get oil down, you'll have to pay for it. But the drinks, I would have a stock solid bar. You have to buy the drinks here. But when you go to the cocktail reception and entertainment, you don't have to buy any drinks. And you don't have to buy any sides or finger foods. It's all inclusive. All right? So remember, it's a formal event at the Radisson Hotel Crown Ballroom. It's formal. So you have to dress appropriately. Okay? So if you want tickets, you could call me. Give me a buzz. I see a good friend. They sent me a message, Barbara, in the UK. She said to me she wants 2 tickets. All right. So again, you can sponsor tickets if you want to. If you're not able to come, sponsor a couple tickets. If you are unable to come, right? But if you're able to come, come true. A good friend earlier called me for 5 tickets. So, people are ordering the tickets. They are buying the tickets up. So we expect by Monday to have the next 100 tickets, the last 100 tickets are up for grab. 100 tickets, the price will increase, but we expect that to go off too. Okay? So take good care, folks. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll be back with you tonight, starting from 8 in the p.m. in the hub.